Shalom, shalom, everybody. The United States of deceptive flags. Ignorance is bliss? I think not. Our lovely corporate America has yet again fooled us. During football season this past year, everyone was caught up debating if whether or not it was right to take a knee during the national anthem and honoring the flag, while nobody actually realized what exactly the true flag represents and what the flag that they were kneeling down to represents. The horizontal stars and stripes flag is none other than a military flag representing the declaration of war, and in reality suspends our Constitution up in the smoke. While the vertical stripes, our original peacetime flag, represents peacetime and is in fact the only time our Constitution is in full effect. A lot of people don't know this. When you walk into a courtroom and see the horizontal striped flag with the gold tassel hanging from it, know that you just left your rights in the parking lot. And I'm going to show you. We have 3 different flags in this country of the United States of America. This picture that I'm about to show you right now is, in fact, the original United States of America civil flag of peacetime. I'm going to show you. That flag. That's the original peacetime flag of the United States of America. That one. I'm going to show you, you all know the red, white, and yellow stars and stripes, the horizontal one. I'm going to show you the Admiralty flag as well. The flag that I just showed you is called the civil flag of peacetime. This is the real official flag of the United States of America. The Old Glory, stars and stripes, flag, with which most people are familiar with, is the official military flag of peacetime, whose horizontal stripes easily distinguish it from the civil flag. The military flag is the one that flew over Fort McHenry during its bombardment by the British Navy at the start of War of 1812, and which Francis Scott Key immortalized in his poem, which would be referred to as our national anthem. The only reason why Fort McHenry was flying Old Glory instead of the civil time peacetime flag was that Fort McHenry was obviously a military installation, and since war had not yet formally been declared, it was obligated to fly the U.S. military flag of peacetime. Had war already officially been declared by Congress, the fort would have flown the U.S. military flag of war, which has gold fringe added on the 3 sides. That's the one that you see in the courtroom sometimes. And there's also an Admiralty flag. There's 3 different flags. I'm going to show you. I showed you one. You all know the second one, the military flag. It was only after World War II that the American people forgot about the real United States civil flag of peacetime that used to fly over non-military federal buildings during peacetime. Today, people fly the United States military flag of peacetime, Old Glory, or Stars and Stripes, without realizing that they are flying the wrong flag. They should be flying the peacetime flag, the one that I showed you. Go into any courtroom in the United States and see which flag is on display. In most cases, it will be the U.S. military flag of war with the gold fringe, which means that the court is informing you that you are entering a military court, also called a maritime admiralty court, in which the United States Constitution is suspended, and the judge can deny you a trial by jury at his discretion. And just as the captain of a ship at sea, he can issue summary judgments by himself, no conviction by a jury required. Prior to World War II, most Americans were aware of these facts. Non-federal buildings within a state never flew a U.S. flag, ever. They flew only their state's flags. Thus, in the paintings and photos prior to 1940, flags on all non-federal buildings were solely state flags, and a state building never flew a U.S. flag of any type. The only place most people ever saw an official U.S. flag was at the post offices in their towns. And since post offices are civil, not military buildings, the flag flown was always the official U.S. flag of peacetime. Every American child used to learn these facts in grammar school until around the mid-1940s. Americans today are not stupid, they are simply ignorant because they were never taught these facts. Oddly enough, many people think that the law of the flags is an outdated relic of the past. Not true. Indeed, every ship at sea is required to be registered with a particular country, and it must fly the flag of that country. That is international maritime law, aka commercial law. To this very day, your flag informs others who you are and if your nation is currently at war. Other people dismiss the law of the flag as not applicable within the United States, often citing statutes conferring upon the president as commander-in-chief the power to add gold fringe, gold tassels, etc. to the flag at his discretion. That is true, but some statutes apply only with federal zones under the exclusive jurisdiction of Congress. Such statutes do not void international maritime law. So the next time you appear in court to contest a speeding ticket and demand a trial by a jury of 12 peers as guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment, do not be surprised if the judge states that you are not entitled to a trial by jury, or even states that the Bill of Rights does not apply in that court. After all, you were warned by the flag displayed in the courtroom that you would be entering a maritime admiralty jurisdiction. That you chose to ignore this warning or were ignorant of the flag's significance is no excuse under the law. Sources: the International Law of the Flag and numerous legal and historical textbooks. I'm going to leave a link on the bottom of the box below so you can see the pictures of the three flags and all the actual laws on them. So click on the link and you can do more studies for yourself, or just Google it, or look in your encyclopedia, or look online. There's many different ways. You all know what the original red, white, and blue flag is with the horizontal stripes. That's a U.S. military territory flag of peacetime. Okay. U.S. military territorial or ensign flag of peacetime. That's the one that they're putting up in they have up in the schools, and they make everybody pledge allegiance to war and to the military. That's basically what that is. U.S. military territorial or ensign flag of peacetime. Prior to World War II, this flag was flown primarily at the United States military installations, on United States ships, as an ensign for nationality under maritime law. And within the territories of the United States, of note is in fact that United States territories, before that they became states, have always operated under military law, which is why their governors were most often U.S. Army generals or civilians who were required to obey the U.S. military. The Constitution does not apply in United States territories. Instead, territories operate either military law or maritime admiralty law. Wow. The United States military flag of peacetime was also flown at United States international border crossing into U.S. territories, such as Alaska before it became a state, to warn people that they would be under U.S. military law. A second flag was flown beneath it called the U.S. civil flag of peacetime. That's the first one that I showed you. That's the original flag. A lot of people don't know that. As a sign to foreigners that they were also about to enter a civil, non-military jurisdiction within the U.S. during peacetime conditions should they proceed further into one of the states of the United States. That's the civil flag. Under international maritime law and its sections of the law of the flags, these rules still apply to this very day. So when you see a flag hanging and you don't see that peacetime flag, you do not have your constitutional rights. You need to get to know this. A lot of people, they're not going to tell you this. Nobody's going to tell you this. They expect you to know. And now a yellow fringe, the little yellow tassel that they put in there, is the U.S. Admiralty flag of war. Wow. Signifies maritime admiralty, military at wartime, law merchant jurisdiction, not common law or the United States Constitution. I'm going to show you a picture of this. You need to see a picture of this. When you see this flag right here, just know that you have absolutely no constitution rights. Your constitution has been flushed down the toilet. That's not just a pretty fancy flag. That's an Admiralty law flag. United States military flag of war signifies maritime law, admiralty, military at wartime, law merchant jurisdiction, not common law or the United States Constitution. If you enter a courtroom or any other building, this flag, Old Glory, with gold fringe, informs you that you are leaving the jurisdictions of U.S. common law and the Constitution behind outside that room. Under the international law of the flag, you have been warned that you do not know about or heed this warning is your problem. The courts make the presumption that you know that you are entering maritime admiralty jurisdiction as if on a ship, and an ancient maxim of law states an unrefuted presumption becomes a fact in law, meaning that if you do not object, then you consent. That is why a judge operating under maritime admiralty jurisdiction can find you guilty and issue you a fine or even imprisonment, all without a trial by jury. The judge has the discretion to offer you a jury trial of fewer than 12 people. Not the same thing as a trial by jury of 12 jurors, but the judge is not bound by the verdict of a jury trial. The verdict of a jury trial is only advisory upon the judge, so he can accept it or ignore it as he wishes, and then declare his own verdict in that case. Again, think of a ship's captain. Wow. First of all, the United States is not even a country. We are a corporation. The United Corporation of America. The Act of 1871 proves this correct. When they changed the United States of America to United States of America in all capital letters. Look up the Act of 1871. But Yahuah will be back soon anyway, so get to know Yahuah now before it's too late. Get to know Yahuah, get to know Father. Repent of your sins. Get to know Father Yahuah. Obey his Torah. You have to obviously obey man's law, because we're slaves in this world, unfortunately. But who Yahusha sets free is free indeed. So follow Yahuah and Yahuah's law, his Torah, and Yahusha. Get to know him now. I pray that you all find your way, and I pray in Yahuah's name. I pray to Yahuah in Yahusha's name that you all find your way, and that you all have protection, and you all are granted endurance to the end. Yahusha will be here soon. This is the United Corporation of the Deceptive Flags. Shalom, everybody.